Hello, I'm Lonnie,
I'm Mark.
and we are Untitled Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee, and we are filming on location, and we are going to talk. Oh, this is Comic Book Malarkey,
Yes, it is Comic Book Malarkey.
and even though it's called Comic Book Malarkey, we're not going to talk about comic books this time.
Well, but see, we can, because there are Stephen King comic books.
Yeah, but we're really stretching it here.
Okay.
I mean, there was a graphic novel of The Dark Tower, and we're going to be talking a little bit about The Dark Tower here. And we're also going to be talking about the upcoming It film.
Oh, yeah.
Of which I'm a lot more excited than The Dark Tower. Because, to be honest, being honest here, I tried to read The Dark Tower, made it about 20 pages in, and said, nope, this is not for me.
You know, I stopped at about page 21.
It was a very slow burn.
Yeah, I think the
And,
only thing that I found that's slower is The Lord of the Rings.
I was actually able to make it about halfway through book one.
Yeah,
So,
no, I didn't make it all the way through Bilbo's birthday.
no.
I was just like, he's describing the grass. I'm done. But anyway.
So, I'm
yeah.
assuming you're more excited about The Dark Tower.
Well, actually, I'm
The movie.
excited about both because I am a diehard Stephen King fan. Okay, like
I mean, I am too. I've read probably about a dozen of his books.
So, well, again, let's find out. Trivia question: name an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that was based on a Stephen King book.
Really?
Yes.
Um,
And it's not Kindergarten Cop. That's where most people tell me at the first off. They're like, it's Kindergarten Cop.
no. How about? I don't know.
So, Stephen King wrote a series of science fiction books under the pen name Richard Bachman.
I know that.
One of them was The Running Man.
I was actually going to say that, and I was like, I don't know for sure.
Well,
it would have just been a shot in the dark, but it sounded right.
The movie is so far off from the book that he took his name off of it. He refused to have anything to do with it. Basically,
you know,
there's just a based on the novel by Richard Bachman, and that's all you get.
That was like Stephen King actually wrote The Lawnmower Man,
Yes, he did.
and the movie was absolutely
Horrible.
nothing. No, the movie was good. I like the movie.
But yeah, well, you're right. It was nothing like the book.
I've seen a lot of times where people are like, "Oh, that's a horrible movie," but they say it's a horrible movie based on the fact that they're comparing it side by side to the book.
Yeah, if you take it away from the book, it's a good
Yeah,
movie.
it's like
The second one sucked.
It's like everybody was bad mouthing the Fantastic Four film that came out a couple of years ago, and they were like, "Oh, it's a horrible film." I was like, "Well, if you back up and throw away all of the source material and take the movie as just a sci-fi movie by itself, it to me was a really good movie." And there was another movie that I just watched that God, what was the movie? It was over the past week, maybe 2 weeks. I was watching a movie and I was like, dang, this is Suicide Squad.
Oh my goodness.
I love that film. I watched it for the first time last weekend.
It had its moments.
I loved it.
Um,
Me and Amber sat there and watched the whole thing. It was just on the edge of our seat the whole time, loving it.
I had some cinematic issues with it. So, like, when I go to movies, I'm a nitpicker. Especially if you're basing a movie off of a source material, I'm a huge nitpicker.
I wasn't familiar enough with any of the characters to care.
And see, that's probably why you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's familiar with the characters, like, there's some things in there that you're just kind of like, okay, I can't do it. There were some things I like that they did. Like, I like how they did Croc.
Well, I know they really romanticized the Joker-Harley Quinn relationship, and that was not good at all.
That is, like, I love that. I want a relationship like Joker and Harley. Okay, so you want to be in a psychotic, physically abusive relationship.
All fairness, people were saying that well before that movie.
I want a relationship like Morticia and Gomez. That's the one I want. But anyway, so...
Well, just for the record, I'm drinking that spiked lemonade from Taco Bell, Mountain Dew. Delicious.
Mickey D Sweet Tea, $1. Send the check to Untitled Nerd Network for the plugs.
I mean, I'd be happy with $25,000.
So, okay. But I'm really excited for both of them. Cause,
if you had to pick one or the other.
So...
Like, one of them you get to go see today, the other one stops production and never gets released.
I would want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. And, well, there's a reason why.
Even though there's already been a movie that stood well on its own.
There's a story behind that. So, when I was a very young child, I had a nightmare that I'd gone to the circus.
Okay.
Now, this is before the movie came out.
Okay.
Or the miniseries, actually. had a nightmare that I'd gone to the circus, and that where when you go to the circus and the clowns throw water on each other, and then they go and they pretend they're going to throw it on the audience, and it's just paper.
Yeah.
Well, when this clown did it, it was acid. It was killing people.
Oh dear God!
And so he starts coming after me. Okay. So I start running.
How old are you at this point?
I was like 4 or 5, maybe.
Hell of an imagination there, didn't you?
So I start running, and the next thing I know, I'm on a train track, and the clown's in a train, leaning out the window of the train with the bucket, going, I'm gonna get you. Chases me up this mountain, going up this huge spiral, and then I jump off, and I wake up because I fell out of bed. A couple of years later, the miniseries come out. Same damn clown. Same clown. That clown that was that they dressed Tim Curry up was the clown that was in my dreams. So I have this deep-seated love-hate relationship with it. So I want to go see it just to see if I can get through it.
Okay, for number one, the clown in the new movie looks vastly different.
Yes.
Number two, according to the book, he looked more like Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. He was like a mix between Ronald McDonald and Bozo.
Which I actually think this current iteration of the Pennywise is a mix between the old one and Ronald McDonald.
He looks vicious though.
Yeah, he does. He does look pretty mean. I don't see how anybody could see him as a happy-go-lucky clown, because I think they explained that the reason he became a clown was to attract children.
Right.
And I guess he does to begin with. Hey, I'm Pennywise the clown.
Yeah. So in the book, it's just this whole every so many years, it gets to come back and it feeds on it's like 27 years or something like that.
Yeah, yes. 20-something. It's like every generation, roughly.
And then, gets to eat all these kids and then goes away.
Well, there was always a big disaster that happened that jump-started everything.
Right.
And I believe the first one was, oh God, what was it?
It's been so long since I've read it. I would have to bone up on it. But yeah, because according to the lore of the town, it goes back to before, when the town was founded. Yeah, it was the explosion at the ironworks. Right.
Then there was one where they had a racist massacre at the Black Spot.
Right.
The one that started this one, the current in the book
was the flood, right?
No, it was the murder of the gay couple.
Right.
And then, usually, I think after they killed. Spoiler alert for those who haven't read the book. After they kill the clown, this massive storm hits and destroys just about everything.
Right.
And but yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the book was really good, and I'm hoping to see. Now, in the book, they started in the 1950s, and it jumped ahead to the late 80s, early 90s,
which was the current time period at the time.
This one is gonna start out in the 80s, like when we grew up. And it's going to jump ahead to current times.
I just thought of something else we need to talk about on another segment.
Okay.
But okay.
But I'm really happy with that because I got the weird feeling that this movie coming in that's going to show the old 80s is going to have really a Stranger Things vibe to it.
That's what I was going to say. We need to do a Stranger Things segment.
We will.
Okay.
And, but yeah, this is, this movie looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. But the Dark Tower, I want to talk about it for a little bit, and then we'll jump back over to it.
Okay.
The Dark Tower, they lost me, and I hate to be this guy, I hate to be that guy, but the casting of the gunslinger, Stephen King made such a huge point
of describing every character in the book
and saying that he was based almost detail for detail off of Clint Eastwood and the westerns and everything. And then they go and cast this other dude who was African American,
Idris Elba.
And I'm not familiar with his work or anything. He could be an awesome actor, but I'm just going by the look of the character. It would be like if they cast a woman, or if they were to cast somebody with blonde hair instead of his hair color. I really think that the main character needed to be cast. They should have just brought in Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, but Clint Eastwood's too busy arguing with chairs. There's people that look like Clint Eastwood that they could have cast.
I would have been happy with Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman would have been a good. Yeah.
It just hurts him.
Hugh Jackman or
put me in charge of casting for the Dark Tower 2.
But I think that they probably went with Idris because he probably delivered the best audition. I mean, I'm gonna have to wait to see it to see how I feel.
I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall during casting discussions.
That would have been interesting. My personal fascination with the Dark Tower is the Man in Black.
Who was actually Randall Flagg from The Stand.
From The Stand. And he's also Flagg from the Eye of the Dragon.
Yes.
Which is an old Stephen King book.
Which is a really good book.
I want them to make a movie of the Eye of the Dragon.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see that. And so, that's my fascination because, as we've discussed, I'm a huge villain fan, Joker, all that fun stuff. So
connected universe would be really neat.
I want to see, and that's just it. It is a connected universe. Like the Man in Black is the same person,
but
in
I'm talking
all
about
of the different
movie
stories.
I would like to see this Dark Tower movie have some Easter egg or some kind of connection to the current It film. I don't know if that is a thing.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'll go to Maine at some point in time.
Well,
because Stephen King does everything in Maine.
Well, yeah, but the Dark Tower is technically, according to them, like a vortex of all the realities.
Right.
And
it would be interesting to see, them reference stuff.
They have a thing which is like the space between realities called the Todash space, and it's like this foggy, monster-filled hell, basically.
Right.
And there is a really strong thought that in the mist, when the scientists are screwing around and they tear open a portal and it ends up engulfing the planet and killing everybody, that that they actually screwed up and tore open a gateway to the Todash space.
Okay.
And so that Earth became part of that.
Okay.
And
I can see that. That would work.
Have you seen The Mist?
I have not seen The Mist. I need to see The Mist.
Yeah, it is such a good film, and it's a good book too. But all of Stephen King's stuff is connected book-wise. Right. I remember when I was reading, I've read Cujo and Pet Sematary, and there's actually a scene in the Pet Sematary book where what's the guy's name? Judd Crandall is the old man that lives across the street from him. He tells Lewis Creed at the beginning, hey, you need to go get your cat fixed, and you need to get his rabies shots and everything. Rabies is a big scare because about 50 miles up the road a couple of years back, this dog went crazy and ended up almost killing this woman and killed a whole handful of people in the town. And everybody's all got to get them animals the rabies shots. And I was like, I read that book.
Yeah, Stephen King's really good like that. There's a couple of different authors who they'll throw little Easter eggs in there. Peter David's really good at Easter eggs.
All of his stuff. Speaking of, Peter David's going to be at Chattacon.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I may have to go there for the first time in decades. I am working on that
because I'm talking to these fine folks in Infinity Flux about getting me a Supergirl #1, the 90s version that Peter David wrote.
Oh, wow.
I want to get a #1 so he can sign it. It's literally like a $4 book.
I want to get him to sign my Star Trek books.
But yeah, anyway, off on the
way off topic. Okay, back to It or back to Dark Tower?
Maybe It. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really excited about Dark Tower. If there's anything further that needs to be said, tackle it right now.
I don't think so. Like I said, I want to see how Matthew McConaughey does the Man in Black. I want to see how he does Flag.
They've released a couple of trailers for It. They've released, I know, one trailer for the Dark Tower. And
I've only seen the one.
There's a couple of things that I've seen. I actually saw an article yesterday, as a matter of fact. It's weird we're talking about this now. Somebody has gone through the entire trailer and nitpicked every single Stephen King Easter egg. Like, apparently there's actually a...
In the Dark Tower trailer?
Yeah. Apparently there is, at some point in the trailer, somebody picks up a book called Misery's Child.
Huh. I'll have to go back and watch that. The only thing that I liked out of that trailer, which, there was that, the whole... The big one that most of the people are fanboying over is the quote, I don't aim with my eye, all that fun stuff. My favorite one was like, are there any guns on Earth? Are there any guns where you're from? And the kid's like, you're going to like Earth. That's funny.
I've not read The Dark Tower, but whenever the Dark Tower movie was announced, I ran in a lot of Stephen King fan groups on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of people. This is really kind of what soured me on the casting decision. Is apparently there is a woman in some realm that he visits in book 3 or 4 of the Dark Tower series, and she is black. and they make a really big deal out of the racial tension between them.
Huh.
And now it's probably going to be reversed.
I can see that working.
Apparently, it was some big plot point that a lot of people were kind of taken aback at the casting. But we all know.
I need to go back and read the books. I've got the books. I need to go back and read them.
There is no way. I personally, I hate it, but I personally do not see them making a big enough payday on this movie
to do the second one,
to continue. They may even make a second one. But now, I'm not going to get into any kind of religious talk here or anything, but the Left Behind books, I was always a pretty big fan of them.
Those were good.
If nothing else, for the science fiction aspect.
And they didn't get off the ground that well.
Yeah.
And you expected them to, as big of a following as they had.
Yeah, I watched the first movie, and I watched the second movie, and they did kind of
And did you watch the reboot?
Yes.
Because they did a reboot, too.
Yes, with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And they never went any further. And really, the best material in those books was like from book 5
3,
on.
yeah.
4 or 5 on. So, I mean, it really became like a sci-fi thrill ride at one point. It was really good because everybody loves End of the World type stuff, and that would have been a perfect movie franchise.
It's like I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan. So,
yeah.
End of the World right there.
And I can't wait to see that next movie because I've seen all of them.
You need to go see it. I took my mom to go see it. She cried.
I actually, I had seen the first Planet of the Apes movie before. But I sat down. They were all on HBO, the on demand. And what are there, like 5 Planet of the Apes?
5 of the originals.
They had all the originals.
5 of the originals. Now there's 3 in the new ones, and they're talking about at least 2 more.
Yeah. Well, the 5th one, or the 5 originals, I had seen the first one, but I'd never seen any of the other ones. And I sat down over 2 days and watched all 5 of those movies.
Oh, dude.
And it was such a satisfying experience.
I know, right?
But, yeah, I mean, and personally, my favorite one was where it explained how everything got rolling. The one where the apes are rising up.
Yeah, the one where their son comes back in time and starts the revolt.
No, they came back in time, had the baby ape. They hid him in a circus for like 10
and then
years.
he eventually gets out and starts the revolt.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one where the revolt started was amazing to me. And then, the one where we're getting way off. We'll have to do a Planet of the Apes
This
video
is not comic book Malarkey. This is now movie Malarkey.
Oh.
Aren't I good?
Oh.
I amaze myself sometimes.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, this episode is going to be rebranded Movie Malarkey. I'm totally down with that.
New segment.
But yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of stuff in the book that I want to see translated, and I've kind of gotten some hints by the trailer that they're going to do some, like the leper under the house.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because that's the difference, because the original one was done as a miniseries. It was spread out over several days.
No, it was only a 2-parter.
It was a 2-parter? So it'll be interesting to see how they squeeze all that. Oh, it is?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that they were doing a
Now,
sequel.
here's my problem. I want this movie to do well enough to where we get the part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm already talking about the Dark Tower might not do well enough. I think
you're right. I don't, because you're right. There's so many people that are upset with the casting that die-hard Stephen King fans. What's going on there?
Microsoft OneDrive is being stupid.
Okay, I didn't know if it was interrupting us or not. Technical difficulties.
I hope not.
But I think that people who are diehard fans, who are like you said, they're like,
I think they're going to be half and half. Half will go,
this guy's supposed to look like Clint Eastwood from the spaghetti westerns. I think they'll just not go see it for that. And then you'll have down here in the South, you'll have everybody who will be racially motivated to not go see it. And Idris Elba is an amazing actor. I mean, I like him as Heimdall. I can't think of anything else he's been in off the top of my head. Wasn't he in? He was in Pacific Rim.
Okay, I think so.
I think he was the commander in Pacific Rim, if I remember correctly.
That is. I mean, I don't want to get too far into this one, but people. Here's a bad thing, and the fact that they took a white character and made him black. Racism is still a very real thing.
I agree.
And
you know who else would have been good? The guy that they got playing Rick on The Walking Dead.
Andrew Lincoln?
Yeah. He kind of has that Clint Eastwood look to him.
For some
especially
reason,
when he doesn't
Hugh
shave.
Jackman.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you. Hugh Jackman would probably be a better choice, but when you're when you're looking at this from a budget point of view, you have to choose between Hugh Jackman and Andrew Lincoln, you're going to go with that.
I would save the money to cast
I would
Andrew
save,
Lincoln.
Yeah, save the money for the budget. For the
It may have been a
special
budget
effects.
thing. Maybe he said he'd do it for cheaper.
Maybe.
And they're
Who knows?
not
Maybe he's a
expecting-
huge fan.
Because they're taking a chance with this movie.
I agree.
They really are. You know it's probably going to be... I wonder what the budget is on that.
We'd have to look. We can see.
You think
You've got
you could-
internet
you think you
connection.
can
I
carry
know.
the show for...
Yes, I can carry something. So yeah, I mean, Dark Tower. Here's an interesting thought in the comments below. Favorite Stephen King movie or favorite Stephen King book if it's not been made into a movie. Like we were talking about Eyes of the Dragon. Beautiful
God.
medieval fantasy kind of a thing. You've got Flag in it as the main bad guy.
This can't be right.
And it's a great book. It needs to be made into a movie.
I hated the ending.
Well, yeah, I mean, because technically the bad guy got away, but I mean, he had to get away because he was going to come up in the stand.
Yeah, but I didn't like... I'm not going to spoil the book.
Yeah, no.
The budget for the Dark Tower? Take a guess.
220 million.
60 million.
What? Holy Jesus. Okay.
That's like a direct-to-TV.
That's,
Or-
yeah. That's
yeah.
direct to DVD quality almost.
I
Okay.
think Game of Thrones has a bigger budget than that.
I think Game of Thrones, dude, Game of Thrones needs a bigger budget than that. Oh my God, I'm sorry, that's a completely different segment altogether too. But the opening scene
Anyway.
of the first episode, oh my God.
Anyway, that's
movie malarkey.
yeah, that's pretty much it. We just came up with it on the fly, on the air. I'm looking forward. We're both looking forward to it quite a bit more. I want to see a lot of the scenes transferred over to the movie. The leper under the porch. The one thing I really want to see in this movie is where they have the oh God, I don't even, I hate talking about really morbid, horrible.
No, you don't.
But there was the part where like the bully he was like the one that was really messed up in the head, and he locked the dog up in the refrigerator out in the junkyard.
Yeah, that might turn some
And
people
then
off.
when he opened it up like 3 or 4 days later to see the dog's dead body, this like flying bat leech came out and killed him.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And it was like, I can't remember, like a bunch of them did, like little ones, and they were like attacking him, and he would like hit them and they would explode and become more, and they just like devoured him. That was messed up, but I want to see that scary as hell scene translated over to the film.
That will be interesting to see
More
how
than
they
anything.
do that. That'll be interesting to see how they do that. I personally just want to see the clown.
Well, we've already seen him in the new trailer.
I know, but I just want to see. I want to see more than just the little snippets we've been getting. Yeah, I want to see more than we all float down here. I want to see more than that.
You
know?
saw the new trailer that came out today, right?
No, I haven't.
We'll
I
watch
didn't
it
even
in
know it.
between.
Okay. I did not know that a new trailer had come
Yep,
out.
new trailer.
But we should make a thing to go and actually see this together, and then come back and do a review of it for everybody.
We'll probably have to get a lot of people together for that one,
Sounds
because
like a
I'm
plan.
going to want to go see it. Think you get Kenzie alone?
Kenzie might want to go
I mean,
see
she
it.
might not do the review, but I want to get a big group together.
Oh
to
yeah,
see this
she
movie.
might. She might go see it. I don't know. She's into gore.
Because I'll go ahead and tell you, like Amber and Sarah are like the horror movie aficionados.
Oh really?
They even watch the low budget, like you have to dig deep into Netflix films that I won't watch.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yep. All right.
So-
Well, that's pretty much it for, I guess, the first episode of Movie Malarkey. We
Movie malarkey right here.
scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We did not. It was a good. Right here at Infinity Flux.
Yep. And anyway, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Mark.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux. We are here live on location. And also remember that we are going to be at Wizard World Nashville, September 8th, 9th, and 10th. The Saturday Night Crew. We're going to be like hanging out and giving out cards and giving stuff away. So anyway, everybody, hope you enjoy, and maybe we can do this a little more. I like
We should.
I like talking about movies too.
Oh yeah.